For all you guys that like the old vintage technology, this one's special. This one goes back many years to the mid-60s. And I think you guys are going to enjoy this because there's probably not too many of these units still around. I'm keeping you guys in suspense and not telling you what it is. Stay tuned. Feast your eyes on this. This is an old Philips cassette recorder. Anyone want to guess the age of this unit? Anyone want to guess the age? I'm going to go out on a limb and say 1965. Check this out. Play. Rewind. And you have to hold it to rewind. No locking rewind. No locking fast forward. What we used to call, I had one of these things when I was a kid. The first cassette machines I had was something similar to this. We used to call it breaking a finger because you had to hold it to rewind it. Or you had to hold it to fast forward it. To record, if you have a tape in, you could press down that button, and while holding down that button, record. Now this unit, don't know anything about it. I doubt that it works. I mean, the thing is, 53 years old. Check the inputs, DIN plugs for the microphone and for the, I guess it's for just for the microphone. And I've got the microphone too. Got the whole unit. Get the remote switch, remote start stop. So that you don't mess them up, because I think it's entirely possible to plug the plugs in wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that you can plug them into the wrong socket. One plug goes into here, or does it go to this one? That plug goes into there because it won't fit into this one. So at least they've done that part right. It's a 5-pin. And this is also a 5-pin, but the spacing of the pins is slightly different. So this one goes into this multi-connector over here. It won't fit into this one. Likewise, this one won't fit into that one. So that plugs into that one, and that plugs into that one. And somehow these DIN plugs are supposed to be better. They're bigger, that's for sure. Oh look, I was right. Check this out. Philips Electronics Industries Limited. RD 1965. I know that there's probably a few of you right now that are salivating for me to open this thing up. So that's precisely what I'm going to do. So, remove this screw. Well, it needs a belt for sure. What remains of the original belt is here. Oh, wonderful. Do I really want to replace the belt in this thing? Ugh. It is just, oh, it's gross. At least that still turns. But there's two belts here that have melted completely. But we're not going to find out if this thing works if I don't change the belts. So I guess I don't have much choice. I'm going to have to suck it up and clean this crap out of this pulley and see if I've got a belt that will fit on this old beast. See if I can make this old beast make some noise. Looks like the motor had a top on it to keep the belt in place. If I can remove that here, bigger screwdriver. Ah yes, the remnants of the belt. Let's see if I can get this out of here without making too much of a mess. Should be noted that the majority of these units were made in Austria, but if you look at the logo on the front and the Philips badge on this one was actually made in Holland, which would make this one probably a pretty early unit in the production. At least the pulley doesn't have much in it. The belt, I think, fell off before it disintegrated because there's a bunch of it right here. This was actually my father-in-law's unit, and it was one of the ones that he would have been using back when he was doing his little 8mm sound movies, and this may very well have been the very machine that he used to make the soundtrack for that Mr. Gullible film that I put up a few years back, where they recorded all the audio after the film was actually edited, and they recorded it all on cassette, and then dubbed it in. They used the cassette for the sound effects. They did the dialogue live once the film was processed, but all the sound effects that they did here were all done on cassette, and it was probably this machine that was used. Getting it on my hands already. I'm trying to avoid that. See, this stuff is so hard to get off. Gonna remove the flywheel completely from this thing. I have to take this bracket off anyway to change the belt. Be interesting to see what this thing needs other than belts, if anything. That should come out. It's not. What's holding that in place? Is there another screw? Of course there is. There's two more. I might be able to actually do this without pulling that chassis. If I can get this crud out of the belt and off of the pulley here. Get this crud out of the groove. One of the best things for getting this crap out is isopropyl alcohol, 99%. It will dissolve most of this grease or this belt material that has turned to goo. You just have to be patient, and it will take most of it out, as you can see here, out of the grooves on the pulley. So I may not have to take this all to pieces, as I was considering doing a minute ago. If I can get this crap out of the groove here to the point where it's not going to seriously impede a new belt, then that may be okay. Of course, getting it off my hands, well, that's a different story. But for that, use baby oil. Baby oil will take it off. So will alcohol. It'll do it too. And of course, you just use the screwdriver to dig out what you can't get with the Q-tip. Once it's got alcohol in the groove, it should come out relatively easy. Just like that. It just scrapes on out. Yummy, huh? Yuck. There, I got most of that stuff out of that one. That was the big one. I got some more crud in this little plastic gear down here. What's interesting to note is that the rubber belts melted completely, but the rubber tire down there, which is the same age, did not. So it has to be with the formulation that they used to make the rubber, or perhaps the way it was cured. But the two rubber belts melted completely. The other rubber components in here, because there's also another one on the top side of that metal gear, the metal pulley you see to the left, there's another rubber tire that actually makes contact with the take-up and supply spools, and it's not it's not deteriorated either. So it's just the belts, which is bizarre. Okay, I think I've got most of this pulley cleared out now, and it's time to find a belt. But first, I'm going to go get my hands cleaned up because they're pretty grimy here. See what I mean? Baby oil takes that stuff off like that. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find a belt or two. Actually, I need two. And see if I can get this thing sort of working. I've got it relatively clean. It's clean enough. So I just got to go through my little collection of belts and see if I can find one that'll fit. It's probably too big for this one. Yeah, that's going to be too big. Hopefully I will have one that will fit. There's some smaller ones here. No, it's still too big. Try this one. This one will be small enough to do the job, I think. Get in there. Oh yeah. That one will do the job there, so now I just have to find one for the capstan. It's a little too big. Let's see, that one might be better. Yeah, that might be closer. I'll see if I got another one like this. Might be a little better. It's a little bit bigger. Yeah, that one might be okay. Let's see if I can slip this underneath here. Around there. Around here, and then around the pulley. I do believe that belt will do the job, because that's the way these things thread. Put away the extra belts here, and we'll clip this thing on the power supply and give it some juice and see whether it does anything at all. So put the motor cover back on. I believe this thing used 5 batteries, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. 5 batteries. 2, 4, and a 5th one. So 7.5 volts is what this thing requires. We have a power supply that will generate that. I have a power supply because one of my new power supplies that I did a review on blew up. So we'll have to try and fix it at some point. Okay, I was looking at what way these batteries go in. Looks like positive terminal down here. So this is going to be the negative connection here. Pretty sure. And the positive is going to be, put a negative there. And the positive is going to be this one down here. If I put this thing into play, This thing should, it turns. Okay, now I just got to hook up something that I can get power to it. I've set my power supply limiting current to 0.5 amp because this thing will never draw anywhere like that. In fact, the amount of power that this thing draws is actually 0.06 amps. Let's find a tape. Let's got to figure out which one of these is the volume. It's got some pretty good volume to it too. Sounds like it's going a bit slow, but hey, this thing's almost as old as I am. Stop. Fast forward. Rewind. Haha! Gotta like that. Look at that, the brakes and everything are still good on this thing. When I stop that thing from fast forward and rewind, it stops instantly. It was sounding a bit slow. I bet you that's the switch. There's a switch down here that engages when you turn it on, and I bet you the contact's on the switch. Okay, this is volume, and this one's going to be record level, I think. Let's just clean up that black crap from the cabinet that looks kind of ugly from the belt. We'll plug a microphone and do a recording on this thing too. Controls need to be cleaned. Turn over the tape, we'll do a recording because there's nothing on this side. Nothing on this side of the tape. Let's plug a microphone into it and we'll try recording something on this thing. Okay, to record, we press the record button down. And okay, so that's stop. So the switch is backwards. When you switch this down, we're now recording, and I would record my record level with the red control here to, I would say, get out of the red. I'm sure that I'm not supposed to be going into the green. I would imagine for recording you want to kind of bounce the meter a bit like that. But now it's recording, and we'll play this back and see how good this little recorder works after 53 years. Record level with the imagine for recording you want to kind of bounce the meter a bit like that. But now it's recording, and we'll play this back and see how good this little recorder works after 53 years. I think we have the answer to how well this recorder works after all those years. And I didn't even clean the heads. They don't look dirty. They look fine. Even the pinch roller looks to be in good shape. I guess it won't hurt to give it a clean. Just make sure I got a Q-tip that's not coated in sticky belt compound, and we'll give this thing a bit of a clean here. That noise is just the volume control. I'm debating whether I should bother to spray some cleaner into it or not. Oh, you know what? It might be these screws. There's ground screws on here too. But I have a feeling it's just the control. Here's something else that I didn't notice until I was looking at this unit here, but the motor actually changes direction. Notice when you're in play, the motor turns clockwise this way. When you're in fast forward, the motor turns clockwise, but when you're in rewind, it turns counterclockwise. That's what this switch assembly down here is for. Whoops. I think I just knocked the belt off of this pulley here. That's what the switch assembly down here does. That's what reverses the motor. Looks like the motor wires go. This might be speed control here. You know that? That might be speed. You know what? I bet you this is the speed control. Let's just put that tape in and see if it is. Side A. Haha, speed control. I do believe I can set the speed on this thing. I'll go get my test tone and we'll set the speed up on this old beast. Now on this unit, I'm not going to hook this up to my scope. I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. I'm going to do it by ear. 440 hertz tone. There we go. $440. There we go. That's 440. Anybody with a good ear can do it that way. And someone with perfect pitch wouldn't need a reference to hear. Unfortunately, I might be a musician, but I don't have perfect pitch. I have close to very good pitch, but I don't have perfect pitch. A little bit of wild flutter there, but hey, for a unit that's as old as the hills, this thing's actually sounding pretty good. That sounds better. Much better. Anyway, that's this one put together. Thanks for watching, as always, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.